Hello and welcome to another installment of the Morning Brew live on NTN, coming to you from the GIS studios. My name is Jessie Leonce and today is Friday, the 4th of September 2020. Thank you so much for joining. If you're on air online, you're watching us via WVent, a special welcome to you. You're watching on NTN, our channel 122, Facebook Live, and also our YouTube channel. Good morning to you. St. Lucians right here on Island Residence in St. Lucia, St. Lucians in the diaspora. We welcome you this morning. We're bringing you the latest news coming from the government of St. Lucia. And today, Friday, we also have a special, two special guests in studio for an important interview on the National Arts Festival. I know many persons are excited to see how the rest of what are considered traditional events, staple events for the year will be panning out. And we have the assurance from the Cultural Development Foundation that the National Arts Festival, Art Reach, will be happening. We're going to find out in what form and featuring one of the participants for this year. So that's coming up later on in the program. We hope you could stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we have the latest stories coming to you for the 24-hour news cycle. We have government planning for village tourism, getting a major boost from the CARICOM Development Fund, and that's to go back on the grant agreement that was signed yesterday between the heads of these two, the government of St. Lucia and the CARICOM Development Fund. We will also be going over the press launch of the Engender COVID Response Project that transpired yesterday during a live on NTN at 2 p.m. We also have word from the Ministry of Health and Wellness of the Republic of China, Taiwan, coming through again with a donation of ventilators and test kits for the government and people of St. Lucia. The details to these stories and more coming up on the other end of this break. Stay with us.
Back to school is finally here. Jay, you have your hand sanitizer, you have your disinfecting wipes. I even gave you an extra mask, and this one you can put it on.
Jaden, what are the COVID-19 rules?
Wash your hands, always wear a mask, and 6 feet away.
Ensure your children are provided with a personal hygiene kit to carry and use on a daily basis. Items like hand sanitizer, wipes, and extra masks should be in there. Remember, if your child does not feel well or is showing any flu-like symptoms, keep him or her at home. Ensure your child wears a mask at all times, especially upon the arrival at school.
Classrooms have been prepared to ensure physical distancing. Teachers and support staff will guide students during the day to wash their hands, and all surfaces, desks, chairs, door handles, and washrooms will be cleaned regularly.
By now, administrations of schools would have communicated the new schedule specific to your child's grade or form. Lunches will be consumed at the student's desk or outdoors while respecting physical distancing.
As we start the new school year 2020-2021, we are all adjusting to the new normal that was introduced by COVID-19. I beg of all of you, let us observe the guidelines as prescribed by the Ministry of Health. Our children, teachers, educators, stakeholders, we all depend on one another to do the right thing for the sake of our children and the sake of our nation. Let us all be vigilant and observe the protocols as defined by the Ministry of Health.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you. Just to take a look back at yesterday, we had the press launch of the Engender COVID Response Project. We had the Honorable Dr. Gail Brigabert present, also Honorable Guy Joseph, the representatives from UNDP, and also the UN Women Multi-Country Office Caribbean, and a representative from the Canadian High Commission from Barbados joining virtually. And this project is essentially coming into another aspect of itself, in that it will be helping individuals, specifically women who've been affected due to the coronavirus pandemic here on island, targeting women farmers. We know the drought just happening recently has displaced many farmers, and at this point in time, they're looking to see how they can manage and save whatever crops they can, and the Engender COVID Response Project is swooping in to be of assistance. Also, the project will be lending support to activities aimed at assisting and addressing domestic violence issues, women who suffer on that end. We also did hear during the lockdown that many women were dealing with these issues, with families being cooped up in the home, relationship issues brewing and whatnot. So we are looking forward definitely to the rollout of the Engender COVID Response Project. Also airing yesterday live on NTN was the grant agreement signing. The government of St. Lucia has signed a grant agreement with the CARICOM Development Fund for the Village Tourism Incorporated initiative. Village tourism forms a key part of government's plan to improve the competitiveness of the tourism sector through deliberate planning and management of the provision of tourism services at the community level. Tourism Minister Honorable Dominic Fede was present. He says the agreement will facilitate government in helping St. Lucians have direct ownership in the industry of tourism. Take a look.
While we have broken every record in tourism, the Prime Minister and myself, we've always felt that it would mean nothing to us if our people are not brought along in that growth. And that's the point we're trying to make here today, is that all the numbers, all the arrival growth figures would mean absolutely nothing if our people are not given a greater opportunity to participate. And this whole signing indicates just that.
The CARICOM Development Fund, Rodnell, the executive director of the CARICOM Development Fund is Mr. Rodnell Sumer, and the CARICOM Development Fund CDF in November 2017 approved grant funding of $120,000 for technical assistance to develop a roadmap and create an associated business plan for phase 1 of the Village Tourism Initiative. On Thursday, 3rd September 2020, that was yesterday, Mr. Sumer signed the agreement for a second grant of $935,663. The grant sum will be utilized for infrastructural development.
We agreed that it really makes sense for us to focus the limited resources in one key area, and it was logical that that should be tourism. We discussed the idea of village tourism. I know the Prime Minister was very anxious at the time to virtually run with it. But we said that, why don't we work with you to help you to develop it conceptually, so that we could be clear as to exactly what direction it should take, the institutional arrangements. And if you have that plan and that roadmap, it gives you a basis for mobilizing resources from other partners, not just from the CDF, but CDF would be happy to work with the government to help you to develop this and to anchor it. And this is what the grant this morning that we're going to sign will allow us to do.
That was Executive Director of the CARICOM Development Fund, Mr. Rodnell Sumer. We will have more on this significant signing transpiring yesterday in a subsequent broadcast. Meantime, the St. Lucia continues to receive assistance from its diplomatic friends in the fight against the coronavirus. We have more in this report from the Ministry of Health and Wellness's Fernell Neptune. Take a look.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness recently received a donation of ventilators and test kits from the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, following a handover ceremony at the Owen King EU Hospital. Taiwanese Ambassador His Excellency Peter Shen says his government remains committed to providing support to St. Lucia in the fight against COVID-19.
I'm proud to present to St. Lucia this token of care and support from the government and people of Taiwan. Altogether, 4 ventilators and 3,000 test kits to contribute St. Lucia's efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. For the past few months, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister Shasny and the efforts of the government of St. Lucia has been remarkable in response to the pandemic.
Prime Minister for St. Lucia, the Honorable Alan Shasny, says he appreciates the diplomatic relations between the two countries and the continuous support provided.
A genuine friend is one in which it's very easy to be able to measure the success of that relationship. And it's times when you need somebody in the smallest ways. And certainly today's contribution, significant in monetary basis. But I also want to say to Solutions that probably one of the most difficult things to get hold of in the world today is a ventilator. So it's not even something that money could buy. And that is what makes this gift so special, that to get 4 ventilators at this particular time.
Minister for Health, Senator the Honorable Mary Isaac, expressed gratitude to the government and people of Taiwan for the donation, which will assist tremendously in the health sector.
Ambassador, I'm always very touched when I get these gifts, when we get these gifts from Taiwan. And of course, we continue to get your assistance at every point in time with every project in almost every area of our development in St. Lucia. And it is really, we are very, very grateful for these gifts that you bestow upon us, because they're not just, fly-by-night gifts or just, out of, just mere to give something. They really and truly address an issue or a problem that we are having in our country.
The government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, made a donation of 4 ventilators and 3,000 antibody rapid tests. Reporting from the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, I am Fernal Neptune.
And once again, we really do appreciate, on behalf of the government and people of St. Lucia, we really appreciate all of the help and assistance that we've so far been getting from the Republic of China on Taiwan. And the final report before we go to our special interview this morning, the Arthur Lewis Community College, SALCC, and the Taiwan ICDF ICT in Educational Development Project are collaborating to provide training in online instruction for teachers of St. Lucia and across the region. This is in recognition of the growing need to develop capacity in technology-enabled instruction among practitioners in the education system, and as a response to emerging trends in digital education and online learning. We have from our NTN News Desk, Ms. Lissa Joseph with a report.
The Arthur Lewis Community College's decision to pivot to online learning with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic forms part of the institution's strategic plan to play a major role in the remodeling of the education sector locally and regionally. The college has launched the SALCC e-Learning Summer Academy for Educators. The course comprises of 7 modules, which includes practical components such as video production and animation to help develop educational content. Participants are also exposed to the concepts of cybersecurity, internet responsibility, copyright licensing, and assessment tools. Education technology specialist at the college, Royston Emmanuel, says the academy is also a platform for teachers to collaborate and share techniques.
The concept is focused on 2 critical areas that is needed in education. One, an understanding of the pedagogical practices that inform ICT integration. For a long time, we've been asking teachers to integrate. We show them the tools and we expect them to step into the classroom, and what do? They do the same things that they do in the traditional sense. And we were saying, no. Whether teachers are trained, whether they have degrees, they need to revisit their pedagogies and the modalities that they use and rework them so that the students are able to experience teaching in a way that connects them, not only to what the teacher is saying, but to others and helps them connect it to their experiences.
The SALCC e-Learning Summer Academy for Educators is being supported by the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, through the ICT in Education program. Ambassador His Excellency Peter Chen pledged Taiwan's continued commitment to helping St. Lucia build a competitive education sector.
COVID-19 is an unprecedented challenge to every country and industry, including education. It has taught us a lesson that the capability of accept use and incorporate ICT into education has become a basic requirement not only for students, but also for educators. Hence, I believe it is fair to say that the e-learning Academy for Educators certificate program is a solid support to the St. Lucia's education system in the right way and at the right time.
Chairman of the Board of Governors, John Calix, says there's concrete evidence that ICT in education improves student learning and better teaching methods.
The SCLCC e-learning Academy for Educators is designed as a response to emerging trends in digital education and online learning. The program targets teachers in diverse contexts, that is, primary and secondary school education, post-secondary and vocational education, and workplace training. Our reach has expanded beyond the shores of St. Lucia, making the college a leader in the online training for educators in the OECS. This is certainly an exciting time for the college, and the board is cognizant of numerous opportunities that present itself and for which we must take full advantage.
Education Minister Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert lauded the South Louis Community College for contributing to the modernization of education in St. Lucia and the region. E-education, she says, has several intertwining components.
Equipping our educators with the know-how for leveraging the technology in the classroom for the benefit of our students. Another component is equipping our students with the hardware so that they can participate meaningfully in the pedagogy. There are other components, such as ensuring that there is the necessary hardware and, of course, the much spoken of internet connection and reliable bandwidth, broadband, and connectivity, all of which we owe our thanks to you, the people and government of Taiwan.
A check presentation was made by the Taiwanese ambassador to the college to fund the e-learning summer academy. 184 teachers are currently enrolled in the summer program, which began on August 4th and runs until November 2020. The course is being facilitated by lecturers of the South Louis Community College. From the Government Information Service, Lisa Joseph reporting.
Thank you, Lisa, for that report. Do stay tuned. We are due for a break, but when we come back, this is the Morning Brew, and we'll be continuing with a special interview with two special guests on the Cultural Development Foundation staging of the National Arts Festival. Stay with us.
Better yet, use soap and water.
We must protect each other if we are to beat this corona.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for St. Lucia. Together let us win this war. Be a soldier, together we can beat this corona.
So you don't become the next case. Avoid touching your face. I'm sure you've been told so. Handshakes and hugging are up. No, no.
Advice, give you the please. Cover your mouth and your nose if you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing and avoid large social gatherings.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for St. Lucia. Together let us win this war. St. Lucia, be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
For further information, please contact the hotline at 311 or the Bureau of Health Education at 468-5349.
Welcome back. You are watching the Morning Brew live on NTN. We just had a quick joke there. The Cultural Development Foundation, CDF, is staging the National Arts Festival this year, and that is Artreach, dubbed Artreach. And many persons would have been very disappointed with the postponement of Carnival and many other activities that are usually on our calendar for the year. And at this point in time, I'm very pleased to say that the CDF will be following through and coming with the Artreach this year. In studio with us to talk about this year's staging is Miss Tember Cadette. She is the Marketing and Promotions Officer at the CDF. And we also have a feature poet who will be part of and participating in the activities for this year. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
You guys sound so angelic. Tember, I want to start with you. If you just tell us about the staging of Artreach this year, what form will it take, what can patrons and the general residents in St. Lucia expect?
Well, of course, we can't have any discussion without addressing the pandemic, and everyone knows it's greatly affected the world at large. And so the CDF decided to stay true to its mandate in promoting artists and culture in St. Lucia. And so National Arts Festival this year, Artreach, will be taking a live streaming approach in that we will still have the theater, the poetry, and what will be a bit new is the CDF feature, but it will be coming to your television screens, to your Facebook, well, it's digital and everything is digital now. And so we're continuing, but on a lower scale. But the CDF is working on switching virtual to a digital space so that everyone can still enjoy the festivals, even though we can't be there physically.
Okay, and with that said, I know it would have been a task, a lot of logistics to take into consideration with having the performers, and you also have to have that aspect of production. That has to be on point if you're going to stream and be virtual. Talk to us about that process.
Well, that's been very long. We're still figuring it out as we go along because it is indeed a learning process. But in the beginning, we had to adhere to social distancing protocols, a lot of Zoom calls, meetings, and so it was quite ticklish because we still had to produce, but we managed to do it in a way that we brought amazing sponsors and people on board who've been able to get the vision but also understand the vision within the limitations. And so two of our feature poets for the Poetry Life series, which Geena is a part of, are actually overseas, and we started working with other St. Lucians who we call our influencers, who don't necessarily have to be in the office but can help us spread the word of Artreach and the National Arts Festival.
Okay, how will Artreach look this year? Tell us about the faces, the forms, the events. You just mentioned Poetic Justice, Survival and Triumph, Voices of the Underground. Tell us more about that.
So Poetic Justice will be the first part of the National Arts Festival. We're going for 8 months. So we're starting now and we'll be going until March. So the first production that's being brought to you is Voices of the Underground, Survival and Triumph. And this is coming out of, it will be filmed in Castries on different streets, Miku Street, Jeremy Street, Cadette Street. And part of that is to also feature the history of St. Lucia and bring it into the poetry and into the culture. And so that in particular will be the first production that you will see, and then we will go into the theater arts live series, which will kind of take a reality TV style with a little bit of drama here, a little bit of sauce, as we like to call it. And we're featuring Dramacan theater productions as well as Gemstone theater productions, so that should be fantastic as well. And then later, when we entering January 2021, you will see the CDF feature, and what that is, it will be a 3-part episode, which will give everyone a deeper understanding of the CDF, of the Cultural Development Foundation, what we do, our training, our mandate, and just to tie everything in and wrap it with a bow.
Nice. And now I segue to you, Geena. If you could just, by the way, Geena McPhee is communications and public relations personnel at the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, and she also has a love for poetry. Yes. I dare say the literary arts, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I'm correct about that. And she will be featured at this year's Poetic Justice aspect, that aspect of the Artreach, the National Arts Festival. Tell us a bit about your craft. Tell us a bit about what we can expect for this upcoming event of Artreach.
I think persons can expect, if I should say, an maybe poetry that kind of is advocacy. It brings in a lot of the societal ills that we have to deal with in St. Lucia, but in a way that is more creative, in a way that is intended to pull people, and in a way that we really grab the attention of the listeners. I don't want to say, I'm trying not to say much because
I'm going to pull it out.
I know you're trying to pull it out, Jessie, yes. But my pieces really focus on the societal issues that we experience in St. Lucia. On that day, for the night, I will be doing 3 pieces, The Mask, Society, and also Political Division. And all 3 of these are interrelated in that they speak to issues that we experience here, not only in St. Lucia, but across the world, where, people have to continue almost hiding themselves and, trying to ensure that you see something else, but what you're experiencing inside, how persons continue to blame, play that blame game when, Geena, the more you see stuff, and then the political divide in light of what we are experiencing now as it relates to politics, and that one has a little twist to it. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping that St. Lucians can have an appreciation for the pieces that will come out. We'll have an appreciation for the message that is intended to come out of these pieces, because many times, persons focus on how you present it and the theatrics of it, but then the message is so important. So I'm really excited. I'm looking forward. Yes, I'm excited about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned societal issues. I know you've been active in the NYC. You've been an advocate. Just tell us what you think the arts, like poetry, music, you also have a love for calypso.
Yes.
What these art forms do for getting a message across to the people?
I believe that these are powerful platforms. The thing about it is, through these creative mediums, through calypso, through dance, through theater, it is such an effective way to bring across a message. And I do not believe that people have an appreciation for how strong and powerful that is. For you to be able to, every calypso season, our calypsonians wait for the issues that will come out, and they sing about it. And it's only then when you're listening to a song and you're singing with them, so you're enjoying it, and then you're like, okay, that's what they're talking about. Oh, that's what they're speaking about. The way that they're able to bring a message across about an issue that has happened through dance. Many times persons, or young people, if I should say, are unable to express themselves like the way that we're speaking right now, but through a dance piece, through the way that they would be able to move, through the way that they're able to tell a story through that piece, that speaks 1,000 words. Through poetry, whether it be, sometimes persons make poetry a bit confusing, so that you have that little pun in there, so that you will kind of be like, okay, what exactly is that person speaking about? But at the end of the day, when you go back and you internalize the whole thing, when you internalize the language that was used, that is a tool to be able to advocate. So I think the arts is somewhat underrated, because people do not have an appreciation for how powerful it is to bring out a message, to spread that message. So for me, that is what I believe, and we have so many young people, and sometimes I get really passionate about it, who are they're in the arts, but they do not know how to come out. They do not get these opportunities. That is why I'm so excited that the CDF has brought about this festival, so that young people can come out, or they can see other young people come out and express themselves, whether it not even be young people alone, but other women, other actors, other persons involved in these fields, and how they are able to bring about a message, so that they themselves can say, okay, you know what, next year I will go to the CDF and ask if I could be part of this. Because poetry, because theater, because art, even through painting, that is such a powerful platform.
Well, this has been another episode of the Morning Brew. Just joking, just joking. But we have Geena McPhee, feature poet for the National Arts Festival Outreach, and that will be the event Poetic Justice, Survival, and Triumph. We also have Tember, Cadette. She is the marketing and promotions agent from the CDF. Do stay tuned. When we come back, we talk more about outreach. We know many events were not able to be held this year, but we're holding out. And finally, CDF has told us that outreach is happening, and we want you to be in on it. We want you to support. Stay with us. We talk more about outreach after the break. Okay. That was good. What other aspects do you...
Overnight, growing national unrest.
Society, a digital cashless society, one world currency.
A vaccine for COVID-19.
Droplets
of the
virus. Macy's iconic flagship.
Virus
COVID-19.
The coronavirus.
Everybody vaccinated.
On the corona pandemic.
Police position to the lockdown.
Infected conspiracy theories.
Bizarre claims.
The truth about the origin of COVID-19 hidden from the rest of the world. And the Chinese.
In this constantly changing environment, resulting in sensory overload, cut through the noise and tune in to the National Television Network, the official source of information, all facts.
The first line.
Yeah, the first line.
Well, welcome back to the program. You're watching the Morning Brew on NTN. We're talking to Ms. Tember Cadette. She's the marketing and promotions agent at the CDF. And we're talking outreach, the National Arts Festival being staged this year. Again, I say many persons disappointed with other activities not being held, but we have the CDF coming through with outreach for our entertainment. Poetic Justice, Survival, and Triumph will be the latest installment of the outreach for this year's staging, and we've just been speaking to also Miss Geena McPhee, and she will be a feature poet on Sunday night. And speaking of Sunday night, give us some more information. Where can we tune in? We understand that it will be virtual. How can we tune in? When? What time?
So, of course, we said we're moving virtual, didn't we? So the Poetic Justice, Survival and Triumph, Voices of the Underground will be premiered on our Facebook and our YouTube page this Sunday at 7 p.m. So that's at CDF St. Lucia. CDFStLucia.org is our website as well, so you can find it right there. And if you want to watch it live from your TVs, you can watch it via, of course, the National Television Network, NTN.
Wonderful. And Geena, I would imagine it's refreshing for artists like yourself coming out of the COVID-19 funk.
Yes.
I recently, well, just last week, Friday, was speaking to two artists as well and talking about how they've not been able to work. They've not been able to really go out there and convey. But there has also been a lot of good downtime for writing and the creative process. If you could just speak to us about what the COVID-19, outside of your job at FLASPA, what the COVID-19 experience has been for you on the creative side.
I think it has really been a good experience in that what COVID has did is allowed an artist, if I should speak in terms of that, a moment of reflection. Because COVID-19, I don't know, it has inspired so much where you see things differently. You see things differently. Now you see people wearing masks. Now you see people who want to hug a little more, but you cannot hug. As if now is the time where you're tempted to do things that you just cannot do. So COVID-19, amid the fact that, you know, it has really impacted lives, amid the fact that it has really, you know, it has people questioning, okay, what do I do next? But at the same time, it has kind of injected a wanting to change in lives as well. Like, when COVID is done, what will I do differently? So I think in the life of an artist, or for me, every day when you sit down at home during a lockdown, you just get thoughts in your mind. Oh, but maybe I could write about that. Oh, now she wants to go and see that neighbor. Maybe I could just write a little something. Oh, now you want to hug. Oh, now you want to tell the person hello. Oh, now you want to want the person home. When you know that before COVID, you didn't want to do it. But COVID, I don't know. I kind of see the bright side of COVID a lot. I mean, there are deaths and there are people who have lost their jobs, and these things are so unfortunate. But then it just gives you a moment of reflection, and it gives you a moment to ask yourself, what will I do differently after this pandemic? Maybe this pandemic happened for a reason, so that I could change something maybe I could change something that maybe I didn't wash my hands enough. So maybe COVID had to happen for me to wash my hand a little bit more. But then it just, I don't know, I think in the life of any artist, because if you even saw persons coming out with dance, you even saw persons on TikTok.
Yeah.
And that's where you would see the most dance moves now, or people who would be singing or creating their own music. So COVID had I think it inspired people to do a lot of things. It inspired people to see things that they did not even see about themselves. So I think in the life of an artist, COVID was a very self-reflecting, kind of inspiring time.
Okay.
Yes.
And you got a lot of notes down.
Yes.
Will we hear any references to the pandemic in your pieces?
No.
Okay.
You will get that as the series goes.
Okay. But Tember, if you could just speak to us on the CDF's perspective with regard to COVID-19, definitely as an events planning organization, you'll definitely be hampered in terms of the rollout of activities for the year.
Of course, we're affected. I think everyone is affected. It's affected budget and just how we operate overall. So it's been a while that we've been calling, not just at the CDF, but just in general, for reform. And I think it's presented the perfect opportunity to do just that. And so we have stepped into the space where we've had to start from scratch and build from the ground up. We've had to refocus priorities as well, and that has been definitely challenging of itself, and we're still working at it. But I think that although we're suffering now, and I don't say suffering as in CDF, but in general, although it's tough now, I think that the fruits of it later down the line would be a lot more beneficial, because before, you would not necessarily have had access to the National Arts Festival live or via your TV. You'd see it, but maybe you'd see 2-3 weeks later or a month later, and now everything is coming to you at a record speed, and I think that's so important. I think we can all definitely appreciate the fact that now anything you want, you just refresh and you can get it. So I think that's key.
Okay, and it's a different way of connecting with
it's a new way of life.
Yes. Absolutely. Geena, I've been working on convincing you all morning long. But I would really love to hear, a piece from you. Doesn't matter, 1, 2 lines, 3, maybe a whole poem, maybe. But just, give us a little taste of what we can expect come Sunday.
Okay, Tember and I have agreed, and I think we're going.
We've agreed.
We've agreed, and we think we're going for 1 line.
1 line and a half at most.
Okay, I will do an. Let me see. Okay, I'll do The Mask.
Okay.
Yes, The Mask. The Mask is one of my favorite pieces, and it was actually inspired by Maya Angelou's The Mask.
Okay.
And so I hope people enjoy it. I hope that this reciting of that short part of it will really pull people to watch on Sunday. Okay.
Bated breath.
All right. When I, Helen, think about myself, I almost laugh myself to death. My life has been one great big joke. My children cried, but nobody spoke. Yet I laughed so hard, I almost choke. When I, Helen, think about myself. Should I continue?
No, she should. It's on Sunday.
Certainly, we could tune in. If you just go over the most important information for persons.
Yes, so our first episode featuring the amazing Geena McPhee is this Sunday at 7 p.m. It's going live via our Facebook and our YouTube platforms. That's at CDF St. Lucia. I don't know if you could do the YouTube and it's in the bottom. At CDF St. Lucia, it will also be live on NTN as well and HTS.
Wow, I will be tuning in, Geena, to support you. We've been writing since Youth Parliament days.
Yes, we have. Oh my gosh, power team people.
Yes. So guys, I really do wish the Cultural Development Foundation all the best in this new platform, trying something new, especially in this new scenario, this new environment that we're now in. And Geena, I also wish you the best. And congratulations, this is big stuff.
It is, and it has really... It has been an amazing experience. I have never been part of a production where, as everyone said, people are coming to wipe your face and give you water, and they're forcing you to drink that water. Drink some water because your throat, you just might need some water. Or people at your back or helping you select a costume or ensuring that you're okay or ensuring that you said that word properly. It's really just, it's an amazing experience that I think every artist deserves to get. So I commend the CDF.
How do you compare it and that level of interaction and management to previous activities that you would have been part of?
If I would compare it to previous activities, you're on your own. You know, you get persons who would call and ask you if you'd like to be part of something, but basically you're by yourself trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get this done, or how am I going to pay for somebody who is going to be able to assist me in being able to do the theatrics of how I'm going to bring my piece out, or to have the correct wording or the correct tone. But then with this one, you had persons who were there motivating you throughout the process. And last year I participated in this festival, and it was also different because last year the poets came out, but they were still, CDF was still there assisting, ensuring that if you needed music, that they would be able to assist you with that, with the music and getting it there. They were there as well. But then this year it was just it was just intimate, it was like you just had this person following you around every step of the way. And I think I commend them for that, because people deserve that opportunity. People deserve that opportunity to know that your craft is so important, and to know that there is somebody out there who believes in bringing that craft out, not only to St. Lucia, but to the world, because you would never know that the message that you're trying to bring out in this festival, that somebody in the US, that somebody in China, Taiwan, that somebody is waiting to hear the talent that is in St. Lucia. So I commend the CDF, and I am really hoping that, when COVID leaves us, I'm speaking positively, when COVID leaves us next year, that the CDF will not only continue this virtually, but have the virtual platform as well as the festival, where persons can have that little face-to-face.
Geena, you just you just prophesied that COVID will be leaving us next year.
I'm telling you, I'm speaking it. I'm speaking it.
At this point, CDF has pulled out all the stops, and we just want to show a video of the production that went behind, featuring Geena McPhee, poet for the Poetic Justice, Survival and Triumph event as part of Outreach, the National Arts Festival. So do take a look so you get an understanding. We're wetting your tongues there for Sunday. Take a look.
So my name is Geena McPhee. This is the second year that I am participating in what I call this poetic explosion, and I must say that it has been an even greater opportunity this year, because last year was in a more open forum where you had persons who were seated, but in light of the whole new environment and new structure, we've had to find ourselves doing things differently. And I must say that this experience has been one that has been really eye-opening, one that has really tested persons who were not very accustomed to what they would come to, but it has been a nice experience. For the three pieces that I chose, the first, The Mask, the other, Society, and the last one, Political Division, they're all somewhat interrelated. Reason being is that these pieces I find to be so relevant right now. The Mask is one, in light of St. Lucians you have no choice but to wear a mask right now. But the thing about it is St. Lucians do have things that they hide, and that is the reality. It's not only in St. Lucia. In any place that we go, you have people who are going through issues that nobody would know. But the greatest thing is that we have an island where tourists come to enjoy themselves, where you are satisfied by the fauna of the island, the mountains, the greenery, but then you do not understand the issues that the people themselves are facing to ensure that this country is what you expect it to be. The which is Society, speaks about, people always want to blame society for something, but in reality, who is society? If we removed ourselves from society, then what would it be? It would just be an environment, it would be grass and buildings. So that core that we have, what keeps society together, it's us. So if we want to see society change, it has to be us first. Political division is really, I don't want to say a shut your mouth, but it has to be a shut your mouth to many people. Reason being, in researching just politics and understanding the political divide that we have in St. Lucia, many people do not realize that we ourselves in our everyday life, with the conflicts that we have with each other, we are politicians.
Wonderful. And I just want to say a wonderful job to you at Tember, CDF, the work that you're doing. Just a shout out to Junior Frederick on, all of the efforts. We know the genius that she is in terms of putting things together. And so a quick shout out to you guys. I know you at the CDF office all watching this morning. Tember, if you could just speak to us about, as we were watching the video, we're just talking about the effort that is put into artists. If you could just speak to the direction of the CDF at this point in time in terms of investing more in the artist and artist development at this time.
Yes, well, with a more intimate setting, as Geena was explaining earlier, we've seen how empowering it was to the artists, just having the hair, the makeup, the props, the lights. It really was a full production. And from that experience, it's definitely something that the CDF wants to invest more into, in creating that wholesome experience for the artists, not just for our poets, but also for our theatre production team and everyone who's on the set, the cast and the crew. And so going forward, the CDF is really looking to focus on creating that experience time and time again, because after all, that is what the CDF is pushed to do, promote artists and culture. And so that's definitely something that we're going to focus on going forward, as long as the circumstance permits.
Wonderful. I'm just going to invite you to just give your closing words as we wrap up with this morning's interview. Geena?
Closing words. I'm just encouraging everybody to tune in, not only on Sunday, but every day, to every Sunday that it comes out, every event that comes out, because I am telling you that this is an experience that you would not want to miss. I got an opportunity to sit at the rehearsals for one of the plays, and I myself was excited about it. So, persons, I don't know, I'm encouraging you, tune in. It will be an experience of a lifetime, and the other thing is to just be inspired, so that next year we could see other faces, so that other people could get this opportunity.
Wonderful. Tember?
And of course, I just want to encourage everyone, of course, to tune in via HTS, via NTN, via our social media channels, on Facebook, on YouTube, and to actually watch, to share, to post your comments, and to honestly give your feedback. This was a production that so much work went into, but I know once you actually see the production, you will see the quality is amazing, the team has been amazing. So again, thank you to everyone. On behalf of the Cultural Development Foundation, thank you, Geena, also, and to every other poet. We'll be going live every Sunday for the next 6 Sundays, so make sure you stay tuned for that.
Wonderful. Ms. Tember Cadette, the Marketing and Promotions Officer at the Cultural Development Foundation and feature poet for the latest event of the Cultural Development Foundation's Artreach National Arts Festival, Ms. Geena McPhee. We wish you all the best this Sunday. And I would give you a high five, but we'd get a lot of complaints. Everything is still very, very sensitive. But I'm very proud of you and wishing you all the best going forward. Hope this catapults you even further into your creative world.
Thank you.
Thank you both for sitting in with us, and thanks for giving us this information on the Cultural Development Foundation's upcoming event on Sunday. We encourage you to tune in, watch, as Tember indicated, on all the platforms. It is free. I mean, it's free. And I think it would also be a great opportunity for kids, the last lap before school starts back, get them to watch and get their creative juices flowing themselves. That's how we continue to promote the creative minds going forward, generation to generation. It's all the time we have for today, for this morning on the Morning Brew. Thank you so much for making this program your wake-up program. If you're at the office, you're at home, you're on your way to town, we do hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Whatever you're sipping on, finish it up and have your breakfast and go on about your day. Go cautiously and do observe the protocols. We're still under a state of emergency, so observe the protocols. Wear your mask when you're going on the bus, when you're going into establishments. Wash your hands frequently. If you can't, keep the hand sanitizer in your side bag to ensure that you're always adhering to the protocols. My name is Jessie Leon, signing off for now. TGIF. Enjoy.